Hello everybody, this is Tannen at Retreat Guru, and in this video we're going to be going over the Retreat Guru basics. So essentially quickly getting you up to speed on how our software works and how it's currently serving you. So maybe you had a highly trained staff person who's recently left you, and now you're finding that you need to get more familiar with the software. Maybe it's been a little while. You've been really busy with retreats, and it's been a little while since you've been in Retreat Guru, and you just need a good refresher of how things work. Or maybe you're just having a day where you can't even remember your own name. Whatever the case may be, we're here to support you. So what we're going to be looking at in this video are 5 main things. We're going to be looking at how to navigate your existing programs and registrations, how to filter for transactions and registrations using our various filtering options, how to manage your emails, how to navigate your rooms and lodging and how they connect up together. We're going to look at how to bring understanding to the functions of reg.settings. And finally, as a little bonus, I will be sharing some tips and tricks along the way with regards to different little alterations you can make to the software to make things more simple and clear for you, including RG etiquette, and that can pertain to card refunds or cancellations or those kinds of things. So let's get right into it then. So the first thing we're going to be starting with is programs. And before we jump into this, it is worth mentioning that this is a basic tutorial, so I'm not going to be going into a lot of detail. I'm going to be simply showing you the functionality of the various areas of our app, and there will be some support articles provided in conjunction with this if you would like to go into more detail with specific functionality. So with that being said, we're going to jump into programs. And we're going to have a look at our list of programs. Wonderful. So we can see all the programs that we have created, the dates that they're running for, the number of guests that are registered. So let's go ahead and click into the Reiki and Relaxation. So this is assuming that you are someone who already has your retreats running. You already have your things entered in the software. So we're not going to go over how to create new programs or anything like that, but we are going to just briefly touch on the various aspects of a program and things that are good to be aware of. So of course in the information tab we have program dates, we have the teacher, the description, those kinds of things. If you want to have a look at who is registered for the program, you can click on this 11 out of 12. That'll open up in another tab the list of people registered. Beautiful. And from there, if you want to have more precise filtering, we can go into the screen options here. And let's say that we're interested in, we don't really care if people snore or not, but we do care about the guest type, and we don't really care if they meditate, don't care how long they've been meditating for. Okay, and then we can apply that, and that's going to affect how our columns show up here in the registration filter. So we can see, registered, the program, the stay dates, the email, all these kinds of things. You can scroll over, see if they have a balance due or not. All really good pieces of information to be aware of. And I'm going to hop back over to the program here, and we're going to quickly look at pricing. So we can see that this program is currently set to lodging-based pricing. Of course, there are different ways of pricing out your retreats, hopefully that you're aware of. And we can see that there are some various lodging types here. There's also a nice little note saying that we cannot use seasonal pricing and modify pricing together. Great, good to be aware of that. Thank you for the tip, Retreat Guru. And we're also looking at our optional items that are currently enabled for the program. There's an early bird discount that's currently in effect. All these wonderful things in your program. So And just so if you're not aware, hopefully you're aware of this already, but if you want to alter what lodging types are available for a particular program, you can do that by checking or unchecking the lodging type boxes there. And then of course you need to always update to make sure that the changes take effect. Under registration, we have the registration questions. So all these questions are pulled from the question bank here. And you can select which ones you want to be in the registration form for when a guest registers. You can even make them required, so you really need to know if they have a special diet or dietary notes. Then if you make that box required, your guests won't be able to register until they have answered that question. They just will not be allowed. The system will not allow them to go through. So, and if you want to add additional questions, maybe you're not seeing a couple questions down here that you would like to have, you can go into your question bank and you can click add new, and then once the question has been added, it will show up in each of your programs while editing a program, and you can simply click it there. We can see that the payment is enabled, online registration is open, beautiful, and then we have the email here. So right now it's set to the standard registration email. And if you want to customize that, you have that capability. So you could have another registration notification email that you would like to populate this with instead. You could do that. And these email templates are all found under Reg settings. So let's click on that there, and we can go into email. And here we go. There is the registration notification email. And this is the email that all of your guests are going to receive when they register for any retreat, unless you otherwise specify per program. So this is kind of like your default template registration notification email, which of course you have the ability to edit and change and drop in different template codes, which are these intelligent pieces of code that pull from your guest registration form. So say if I was the one registering, it would say, "Dear Tannen, thank you for registering for Reiki relaxation at Retreat Guru for these stay dates." So these are really, really great tools to be using for your various emails, and you can read about each of the various shortcodes here. They have a little description next to them, and it's as simple as copying and pasting the shortcode right into the email. So that is where you will find that standard registration notification email. Under pre-arrival emails, of course, we can set up emails to go out 7 days, 5 days, 14 days, however many days you want prior to the retreat starting. So if you want to remind your guests to bring certain things, or if you want to send out information with regards to how to get to your center, anything like that, you can send that out through pre-arrival emails. And another thing that I will touch on here that's really useful to have enabled is the post-departure email. And again, this is found in reg.settings, and you can enable it there. And then when your guests have completed the retreat, there'll be an automated email sent out to them, thanking them for participating, maybe just letting them know that you're appreciative for them being there, and also having a link for them to post a review, which links up directly with your retreat.guru center page. So that's a really simple, awesome way of getting your guests to effortlessly leave their feedback for you on retreat.guru, which will, of course, boost your ranking and your visibility on our site. So really good thing to have enabled if you haven't already checked that out. And we're not going to be going into advanced because, like I said earlier, this is the basic video tutorial. Alright, so now let's move into how to do test registrations. So there's two ways of doing that. As an admin, you can do a registration through the Quick Add Reg, which will bring you to a bare bones registration page for the program that only you as an admin have access to, so your guests cannot register in this way. And you can fill in the basic details there, click add new registration. There's no need to fill in a credit card or any kind of payment details. Just a quick way of getting someone in the system is one way of doing it. And another way of doing it is one that you might be more familiar with, is register as a guest. So here we have a registration form in all its glory, and let's go ahead and register as a guest would. And I'm definitely going to get a Thai massage in there. That sounds amazing. And we're going to fill in some generic test information there. And we're going to scroll to the bottom and click register now. And right now I have my demo site in test mode, so you'll see that this fake credit card has popped up. That's not going to be the case for you if you have a live payment processor active on your site or active with Retreat Guru. So the best way for you to do test registration would be through the quick add reg, as we saw earlier, because there's no payment or card required. Or you could always create a test program and then disable payment for it. It's another way of doing it. So we're going to go ahead and register now. Thank you for submitting your registration. All right, beautiful. Let's go ahead and take a look at that registration. And we can see that test is officially in the system. 10-day detox retreat. Beautiful. I'm going to scroll on down. We can see the payments here. $900 for lodging. And $120 for the nice Thai massage that we added on. There is the card payment, and the balance due is currently 0. And we'll also notice that there is a card stored on file. So you can, go in there and charge the card at a later date if your guest decides to add anything in the way of massages or extra treatments or airport pickup, anything like that. Once you have the card on file, it's really simple to go ahead and charge that card on behalf of your guest. Some other functionality we're going to speak about. I mentioned the Retreat Guru etiquette. So when adding a refund, what has happened in the past with some of our clients is they will go ahead and they will click add item, and then they're going to go in here and they're going to say, oh, let's go ahead and add a refund and call it credit card for $500. Great. The problem with that is that's not actually a refund. It's been recorded as a refund, but no refund was actually sent to the credit card. Okay, really, really good to be aware of that. So we're gonna go ahead and delete this transaction because it is simply not true. And I'm gonna show you how to properly refund a card, and that is through this link right here, the add refund. And we're gonna refund $200 on the card. Card refund. And we're gonna see that it was not able to refund it. Beautiful. So this is a very, very realistic demonstration because if you were to make a live credit card payment and try to refund it in such a short period of time, more than likely you're going to see something like this because it takes a certain amount of time for the funds to settle in the account. Sometimes that's up to 24 hours. After that time, you're free to go ahead and make that refund, which is perfect because that is another support request that comes in quite frequently where guests are unable to receive their refund. Our clients are unable to make a refund, and the issue is that they're trying to refund too quickly. So sometimes you need to be a little patient with it and come back and make the refund at a later date. So that is the proper way to do a refund. Of course, it would go through with the proper time allotted between making the refund or making the payment and then making the refund. So good to be aware of. And we're gonna keep scrolling on down. Actually, we're gonna scroll on up because there's one other thing with regards to Retreat Guru etiquette that I wanted to touch on here, and that is the guest status. So if you want to make a cancellation Another common error is some people will just go up to here and someone canceled. Okay, I'm just going to set their status to cancel. You notice that this lovely little box pops open with some information. It says the proper way to cancel a registration is to use the cancel registration button below the balance due. Thank you for that reminder, Retreat Guru. I did not know, and now I know. So I'm going to go down here. Instead of canceling that way, I'm going to scroll on down and click cancel registration here. And you can even apply a cancellation fee if that's something that your center charges, if that's something that you do. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to cancel the registration. Ta-da! Now we can see that those transactions have all been grayed out. And yeah, that's the registration has been officially canceled. All right, so now we're going to scroll on down to the very bottom of this now canceled registration, and we're going to look at all the emails that are sent to a particular registration. So any email you send, whether it's a payment request email or refund email, notification email, all those automated or manual emails that are sent to a guest are going to be recorded in their registration dashboard at the bottom here. So here we can see the registration that was sent out, the registration notification email that was sent out when we did the test registration, and we can see everything that was included in that. Wonderful. So just good to be aware that for all your guests, if you want to have a look at what emails have been sent, what haven't, go right to the bottom of the registration page. And now we're going to go into the registrations tab, and we're going to play around a little bit with the filters. So filters are your friend. Filters are a wonderful way of pulling out the data and information you need for a particular retreat, for a particular time period, for certain, if you want to see certain people who have balances due. There's all kinds of ways to filter with the reports, and this is going to be, of course, the very basic version of it. But let's say that we want to have a look at the people who are attending the 10-day detox retreat. So we can see right off the bat there's 5 people there, and we want to only see those people who have a balance due for the registration. And we're going to even want to see the summary there. So we're going to add that information, apply the filter. We can go to the bottom and we can see a quick summary here. The guest types, their special diets, great, 2 are vegetarian, 1 special diet. We can scroll to the bottom and we see that there are 3 people who currently have a balance due. So 3 out of the 5, because remember we set the filter for to showing only people that currently have a balance due for the program. And let's say that we want to go ahead and email them. We can click on this bulk email everyone in results, and then we could send them a payment request and say, hey, your retreat's coming up soon. Your payment is needed and much appreciated, with a link with that short code to pay the remainder of their balance. And some other things we can do here. Let's say instead of a particular program, we want to see who's going to be with us for the month of September. Let's go ahead and do that. And now we can see that there are 33 people who will be joining us at the center for the month of September. Beautiful. And let's say that we want to save this particular filter as a report, as a monthly report, to see who's at the center from month to month. We can go ahead and click Save Filter as Report. You can say Monthly Report, and we can click Save. And what that's going to do is that's going to save it as a report that we can then access under our reports up here, and we can go ahead and run that report again whenever we would like. And one thing that I'll quickly show here is our standard reports. So the software comes pre-built with some reports for your convenience. So you can run, finance reports or program reports. You can do kitchen reports. program tally reports. So these are all good things to play around with a bit, and I will include a link to a help article with regards to creating and managing your reports. And now we're going to move on into transaction. With your transactions, similar to reports, you have a whole bunch of filtering options to play with to pull out the information that you're looking for. So for the sake of this basic tutorial, let's do, I want to see all my transactions from the month of July to the end of August. And I want to see only those transactions that were made via credit card or card payment. And we're going to do show totals and summary, apply the filter. Now we can see, okay, so there was 52,428 that came in for those 2 months as credit card payments, and we can see those card payments all below here, 30 separate items. Or maybe we want to, we can go ahead and clear the form, and maybe we want to look at it for a particular program. Let's say for the Yoga and Ayurveda Detox Retreat, we want to see how we were doing for that. We can go ahead and apply the filter, and we can see that 16,304 came in for card payments, and we can see the breakdown of, okay, that $3,504 was for lodging, $230 was for price add-ons, and $12,800 was for the program costs, tuition, as it may be. Wonderful. And then we can see all those 26 transactions down here, and we have the ability to even click into a transaction if we wish. If we want to explore it more in depth, we can see this particular one was a price add-on for $100 for some acupuncture. We can see the transaction date, so the date that it was processed, and we can see that it's attached to Kai Woolner Pratt. Forgive me, Kai, I probably did not pronounce your name there right, but and then we can even click on Kai's name there, and that'll bring us to his registration dashboard. So that's a very basic way with some of the ways you can use transactions and the filters for transactions. Another thing that I will mention is for your transactions, maybe you want to change the screen options. Maybe you don't need to see all the information that is currently available, and you can edit that up there. So if you want to shorten the columns or extend the number of columns that are provided in the search, credit card status, first payout, final payout, those kinds of things, all that is editable up here under the screen options, just as it is in registration. Now we're going to move into questions, but before we move into questions, I want to touch on how to receive support, direct support. Let's say you're having a major issue or sometimes even a minor issue, and it's just frustrating the living heck out of you, and you really need a hand. You could really use some help. Well, down here in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see this little smiley face guy hanging out in this orange circle. You can click on that, and that's going to give you a direct line to our support channel. And so you can send a message here. I need some support. And one of our fine support team members will reply to you and help you out with whatever it is that you need. So really good to be aware of that. If you're in need of support, you can access us through that. You can also email us directly. That email is support@retreat.guru. And one other thing I will mention before going into questions is how to suggest features. So we have this handy tab down here, suggest a feature. You can click on that, and that's going to bring you to our Receptive database. So if you're not familiar with Receptive, this is where all our clients, including you, have the opportunity to make feature requests and suggestions for ways to better improve the app. which we are always really grateful for, because your input directly influences, where we are building things, where we are going, and we really appreciate hearing from you what is valuable, what is helpful, and you helping us how to make the software that much better. So if there's something that's burning in your heart that really wants to be expressed, do you have a suggestion or a request that really needs to be channeled into a way of us being able to pick it up and look at it, this is the place to do it. And we regularly review the feature requests. You can go in here and you can even vote on other existing feature requests that other clients have been making. So if one really resonates with you, like, oh, that'd be really helpful, you can go ahead and click I want this. And the more votes a feature receives, the more likely it is that we will be building it in the not so distant future. So really good to be aware of that and where to go to make those requests. So now we're going to go back to questions. And here we have our question bank. And as I'm sure you noticed, Retreat Guru comes pre-populated with a whole bunch of helpful questions. And you can actually drag and drop these questions if you want to reorder them and change how they show up on the registration form, because of course these questions are then enabled per program, and then your guest or your future clients are the ones who see these questions show up on the registration form. And if you're seeing a question in here that, or not seeing rather, a question in here that you would like to have added to the registration form, it's a simple matter of clicking Add New in the question bank, and then you can create your own question with a whole bunch of different question types, drop-down list, radio button, multiple lines of text. One thing worth noting is when you create a new question, if you want it to be searchable in those wonderful filters that we were just looking at on the registration list, you need to click this box here under Reporting, Add to Registrations List and Filter. So that way when a guest answers this question, it will indeed be filterable when you're possibly creating reports or wanting to pull specific registration data. And now we're going to move into lodging. Okay, so here we are in lodging types, and we can have a look at all the different kinds of lodging types we currently have: romantic villa, single, triple, dorm, garden view. And just for clarity, lodging types are how you sell your rooms. So if you want to, you can sell one room in multiple different ways. You can use one room, say if it has the capacity to have 2 people, you can sell it as a single or a double. If you have a room that has a capacity to hold 3 people, you could sell it potentially as a triple, a double, and a single. So just different ways of selling your available rooms. And let's go ahead and click into one of these lodging types and have a quick look here. You can see there's 2 styles of lodging type. There's the shared retreat style, which means that strangers can share a room, and our system, which is intelligent in the way that it will sort people depending on what kind of lodging type you associate with the room. So if you want the ability for guests to, for strangers to book a room together, you would want to keep that on shared. If you want a room to be booked regardless of how many people book it, and so strangers are not going to be sharing the room, you want to set that to hotel style. Then you can set that to 1 or 2 people. So as soon as the room is booked, it is full, regardless of how many people book it. But with the shared, if there is still space available, then other people can book it and fill up the additional space for that room. And again, this is the basic tutorial, so we're just going to very quickly touch on this. You can see, description, for adding description for the lodging type, the different images, so you can display your beautiful lodging. And then at the bottom, we can see all the rooms that currently have this lodging type enabled. And we can even click into the room, and we can see, oh great, so room number 1, the primary lodging type, which is the main way that your room is going to be sold, or the first choice. So if a guest is registering and they select a lodging type of single, then all the rooms that have that lodging type associated for their primary lodging type as single, they're the ones that are going to pop up as available for first choice. And let's say that all the single rooms are booked and a guest books single. What you can do with the secondary lodging types is if you have a double room that you also want to sell as a single potentially, you can then enable that as a secondary lodging type to still accommodate your guests in that way. So yeah, here's the room. We can even see at the bottom of the room bookings, future, current, and past. Wonderful. And then we're going to go into the room bookings chart as well. And this is a really awesome way of getting up to speed with who's going to be staying with you at a glance for a particular program or certain stay dates. So let's look at the 10-day detox that's coming up here. We can see, all right, we got one, we got two people currently registered for the 10-day detox, and there's a little bit of overlap there with the Reiki and relaxation. Beautiful. So if you want to have a quick look at, who's coming, who's going to be there, who's currently registered and filling up a room, so here we have none, for a particular program, this is the way to do it in the room bookings chart. And then of course you can filter for dates. So if you want to see, who's going to be here in the first week of October, you can even edit how many days are being shown. So if I want to see more calendar days, I can expand that out, and I can see the full month here of October and see what kind of bookings we have. So that's what I'll share for lodging and rooms. One other very quick thing actually I will touch on for rooms is room blocks. So with room blocks, you can block a set of rooms or one room for a range of dates, or you can restrict certain rooms to a program. So you can reserve rooms to make sure that you're gonna have the capacity that you want or that you need for a certain program. And there's 3 different types of room block. There's the standard, which is just gonna block rooms for a range of dates. There's the program restricted allocation, which you are then prompted to choose for a program. Okay, so what rooms do we want to reserve and restrict this program to? We're going to reserve these 6 rooms from the single and the triple for our 10-day detox retreat in January 1st to 11th. So these rooms that are selected through the restricted room allocation are the only rooms available for this particular program. If we select the program whitelist with overflow, that's going to reserve these rooms for the program that we have selected up here, but the program is not restricted to these selected rooms. So if all those rooms fill up and there's other rooms that are available, then your guests can register into those as well. Okay guys, so we have made it to the end of this video tutorial, and the last thing I'm going to just quickly touch on is Reg.settings. So in Reg.settings, you'll see a bunch of different tabs up here for general, email, theme, and so on. And in here you have the ability to customize registration form, customize the guest statement. Under emails, you can customize all your various email templates. You can add multiple registrar emails, so if you want to have multiple people receiving all the notification emails when someone registers, or when they send a payment or they cancel, all those kinds of things that you can do that in the email tab. And with general, there's a bunch of options in here where you can enable alternate payments, and you can add stuff to the registration, thank you page, footer and header, and all those kinds of things. So don't have time to explore all these things right now. I'm going to be doing another video with a more in-depth dive for Reg.settings, but just so that you're familiar that this is where these things exist. Each one has the ability to customize essentially a lot of the front-facing content for your clients. So here you can see under theme, if you want to change the register now button and you would like to say submit now, you can do that there. So lots of functionality in here, lots of things to explore. Good to be familiar with that. Also good to be aware that For the most part, the things that you change under reg.settings, they're going to be global changes unless otherwise stated. So just be careful with what you're playing with in here, because it has the potential to affect all your retreats and all your programs. And for certain things such as extra nights, which you can enable under the general tab, we are coming out with a new feature where you can enable that per program. So things are constantly evolving. New features are constantly coming out here. Our devs, we have a really awesome team of developers that are always working hard to bring upgrades and new highly requested features to the forefront of our apps. So exciting stuff. Yeah. So this is reg settings. This is where you can play, and just be careful with how much you do play. And that's it for this RG basic tutorial. Just want to thank you guys for your time at this, and I'd like to extend an open invitation to anyone who would like to see specific tutorial videos. If there's something on your mind that you would really like help with, or a level of detail of one of the areas that I went into that you would like me to expand further upon, or if you have any general questions at all, you can submit those through, now that we know how, the intercom bubble down here. This is a direct line to our support, or you can send an email, and the email address to send it to is support@retreat.guru. So once again, this has been Tannen, and it's been fun hanging out with you guys. Hopefully you found this tutorial video helpful, and there will be more to come. All right, have a beautiful day.